All right.
Hello, and we are live. Welcome everyone to our 1 year special episode of Quantum in Finance. So super happy today after 1 year to reconnect with Multiverse Computing, Esperanza, Enrique and Román. They kicked us off with this series of looking at quantum computing in the finance space, and it's so great to have them back here celebrating after 1 year. I know they also have some special announcements. They have been doing great in the space, so very much looking forward to hear what has been happening in this last year, but also, what does the immediate future hold for us. For those who are here for the first time, Quantum London is a community of people just exploring the business implications of quantum computing. We have been doing this for 3 years, both connecting with special experts in the space, but also running Q&A sessions where everyone is welcome and can ask all the basic questions. So a nice way, welcoming community, super friendly, is a good way for people to get involved and explore the topic a bit more. So this is me done. I don't want to take any more time. I will just hand over swiftly to Esperanza and our special guests, Enrique and Román.
Well, thank you so much for the kind introduction, and thank you so much, Enrique and Roman, for joining us today. And yeah, it's been quite a year. And first of all, I would like to start congratulating you and the rest of the team of Multiverse for the amazing results. First, being named as one of the cool vendors in quantum by Gartner, which is something I would say very remarkable. And then the award granted to Multiverse by the government in the Basque Country. And I think this proof, as you rightly said, Enrique and Roman, that the vision and the direction that the company is following is the right one. So I guess a day for celebration today, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much for letting us just be here again 1 year later. As you can see directly from us, the situation is improving because instead of t-shirts, now we are wearing suits. So that means that working for finance has never been so good. Another thing. Is that right, Roman?
Yeah. This is our new outfit.
Yeah, it
No,
proves.
we are celebrating. Exactly.
Yeah.
We look more professional now. We are celebrating today many things, and also it's 1 year of the series of Quantum London. So we said, okay, this is the perfect outfit for today. Also, no?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking about 1 year retrospective, it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a road. And I would like to hear a little bit from you. Which aspect would you highlight as a retrospective of this year?
Okay, I have to, coming from the business side, which is my role here at CEO and Multiverse. This year we have more than multiplied the size of the company, I think, by 4 or 5. We have multiplied by 4 since last December, and I don't remember which, and a year ago, I don't remember exactly which was the size of the company. We have go deep in finance with more customers, both here in Europe and also in the United States. And we have tremendously good results in some of the areas we are touching. And also, as important as that is that we have just also opened some new verticals and new industries in the company, given that, we have customers willing just to try our solutions, paying customers, I must add, if you let me. We decide that, given that all the large companies in the software side are just generalistic, to say something, just working in some different verticals, we say, why not us? And then we decide to enter into using nearly the same solutions as in finance. We may discuss that later. But we may apply to some other fields. Even that, finance is our most important core of the business. That amounts, I think, to 30% at this moment of the total activities of the company. That means that the other industries has grown quite large. But okay, we are extremely grateful to the large companies in finance that has allowed us just to extend our workings to those others. From the technical point of view, I mean, I think, you know, as I mentioned always, I mean, I'm just only mathematician. They let me just speak very few times, the physicists inside the company. And if I make some mistake, then later I am... well,
yeah, sometimes we like mathematicians to speak here at Multiverse, and and it's quite okay. Yeah, no, from the technical point of view, the last year has been also really, I think, very intense. So we've been working a lot. We've been multiplying the number of solutions, algorithms, and methods that we are applying in different types of quantum hardware, and also not just on quantum hardware, but also on quantum-inspired techniques, and also actually on hybrid algorithms. We've exported our solutions to more verticals. 1 year ago, we were here talking about finance, but now we are talking about more things than just finance, about manufacturing, energy, I don't know, several other things. So it's been an impressive year from the technical development. Also, we've come up with several solutions for very hard problems that have been very successful. Okay, we have also increased the number of different platforms that we can access to, also different solutions that we are incorporating into Singularity, and yeah, it's been a really interesting year also from the technical side.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, both on the technical and both on the business side. An exciting year indeed, exponential year, I would say. Things moving at an astounding pace. And related to this, there's also the question of where are things going and how do you foresee the rest of the year and then the next year? Because if there is something that I'm perceiving more intensely, is that it looks like we are approaching, if we are not already in it, an inflection point in quantum.
Right. I mean, I suppose that the physicists inside the company will just talk more about that, the technical part later, but you are right. Esperanza, I mean, from the business point of view, I mean, last year, I think that it was our first, let's say, complete year to say something as a company with several people and so on. And only in this 2021, I think we arrived to nearly 7 million in total contract value. That, I mean, is something, is a very good figure. And probably this year we are going just to multiply by at least by some figure between 2 or 3, if not more. So that means that we can earn our way of life just by selling quantum and quantum-inspired solutions to real customers, but specifying very or focusing on very specific parts of the economy. So that means also that we have to prepare ourselves just for the Armageddon that is going to come here. You know that the markets are going down. There are a war in the east of Europe. I mean, the supply chain is completely disrupted. We are fighting ones with the others and so on. So we have to prepare ourselves. So as we already know from long ago, first thing is we have to get money, and then we have to make our team grow. I mean, we are now 50 something people, in fact. Up until the end of this year, we should be able to double at least this figure, okay? And that means that the technical team, basically. At this time, we have, the other day, you know that we are for founders, and some of the other founders which has to do the things or have to develop and deliver the solutions. They were just complaining that we have more customers at this point. That that workforce doesn't matter to me, because I mean, this is not my business. They have to do that, but probably they are right, and we need to duplicate the team. But there are some specific things in the technical way that make us think that the balance of power inside the quantum computing industry is going to change from hardware to software, for sure. We are working for software. So, but what may happen with those announcements from, let's say, IBM or the other ones about 400 qubits or 1000 qubits, even they are noisy qubits. So, but this is just for the our esteemed CSO. Yeah, so there is a transition. We have been discussing this internally a lot. I personally think that we are in the middle of kind of a historical moment right now, because it looks like quantum technologies, and to be more specific, quantum computing is starting to go from academia to industry, actually. And this already was happening 1 year ago, but now it's increasing exponentially, as we were saying. And this is happening more and more, not just in finance, but also in other verticals. And we see this. That there is a kind of, I mean, this is good, no? Because this means that the technology is hitting a point where it's starting to actually accessing the market, okay, which eventually has to happen. But we are witnessing that, and these are some very interesting and exciting times, because it means that the use cases are just multiplying exponentially fast, and you need to be there to catch them, okay? Lots of people are getting more and more interested, and so on. And from the technical point of view, I think next year is going to be very interesting, because there are going to be lots of use cases where we'll have to think about where to apply quantum computing. And it's very interesting also for the software, because of course now we have the solutions much more validated, both quantum and quantum inspired. We have the algorithms much more mature and so on. And you can see people such as Google making spin-offs, okay, not in hardware, but in software. That's significant, okay? Yeah. It means something. So software is going to be, it's going to be important in the next year. We have the feeling, and we are of the opinion, but this is a personal opinion, we may be wrong, but that with quantum computing, the situation may be similar to what happened with classical computing also. At the beginning, it was the hardware companies that were very valuable, but eventually, once the hardware was clear, it was the software companies actually taking over, and you had the Microsofts and so on. And then those were the ones that were actually offering value. So with quantum computing, we have the feeling that it's going to be something similar. It's of course, we need to build the machine, okay? And there are many proposals and so on. But once we start having the machines, it's going to be the time of the software companies, because it's the software that gives value to the hardware. If you only have the machine and you don't know what to do with it, it's useless. It's just a very expensive bunch of qubits, okay? So you need somebody to tell you what to do with that machine, okay? And those are the software companies. And we have the feeling that at that moment, okay, is at some point there's going to be a crossing, okay? And that software companies will just let's say, become more valued. But that's our feeling, okay, of what could happen, because it already happened, as I was saying, in the classical computing field.
Yeah. And I mean, from both points of view, in a sense, it goes hand by hand. The company growing rapidly, also following these, let's say, intuition. Of course, quantum machines won't be very useful if nobody knows what to do with them, or how to program them, how to use them. And thinking about the roadmaps by different manufacturers, sometimes I feel dizzy, because as you were mentioning, you see it, and you see a very significant psychological threshold very, very, very close in the horizon. And this also means for companies, my personal take of view is that companies who haven't started their quantum journeys should better start now, because the quantum train is going really, really fast, and some of them might not be able to take it. And also, there's something very interesting, I would say, about the software side, which is quantum-inspired solutions. And these solutions can offer real and tangible value to businesses, despite, hardware being in the niche area. And regarding quantum-inspired, could you provide some example of quantum-inspired solutions and how these solutions are creating value for businesses now?
Yeah, I mean, there are different places where quantum inspired is getting very a hot topic, actually. So for instance, one is optimization. Okay, everything that has to do with optimization problems and so on, which are, they permeate the whole industry all around. There are many different techniques in quantum-inspired solutions that allow you to, optimize very large problems with lots of large number of variables actually very efficiently, or even more efficiently than what people were doing so far. But I think that the most important, well, not the most important, I would say the most direct application, at least for the time being, is everything that has to do with machine learning. Okay, so for instance, with quantum-inspired solutions, you can improve the performance of neural networks. Okay, you can improve the performance of deep learning. There are different ways of doing this. You can reduce the memory consumption. You can accelerate the training times. You can increase the accuracy. Since you reduce the memory consumption, you're also reducing the electricity consumption, and so on and so forth. And then, these are use cases that we have been testing, and they work really well. Okay, in different scenarios. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And there is also a change in our experience with the market, is that not just the large companies are willing just to take some test or to have some tests on quantum or on quantum inspired. Okay, this is a different thing about the tensor and so on. But also medium and some small companies, especially the small companies just dealing with advanced advanced techniques in some other places, let's say, for example, machine learning, you are right, or let's say defense or these kind of things, they are willing to try these methods. So it's not only that this thing just goes for the large ones, the big brothers and so on. No. Innovations is just going to the other companies that are quite interested in applying those kind of solutions as well. Try this kind of solutions on real advanced problems.
Yeah. This is something that I like to mention when I speak about quantum and about multiverse, which is that we believe that quantum is for everyone. We believe in democratizing quantum, and singularity is a great example of this. Who said that you cannot access a quantum computer from Excel, for example? Who said that? And I love the way singularity challenges that assumption and helps to democratize quantum. So
I think that's a key aspect. We need to make quantum easy. Quantum is not just for the quantum engineers or for the people that study quantum mechanics. Of course, the people that know quantum mechanics can do quantum, but everybody has to be able to use a quantum computer. Now, how do you do that? Of course, you need to give it with the tools that everybody uses. No? And what is that? Well, that's Microsoft Excel or MATLAB or whatever it is. No? That's where the challenge is, or at least part of the challenge. Just make it trivial. How do you make quantum mechanics trivial? That's really a complicated question. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And I can also share that regarding that, there is and I'm sure, Enrique, you feel it as well from the business side, that there is an interest from companies in these solutions that help to democratize quantum. And maybe you can share some of the insights that companies have let you know about this.
Definitely. I mean, the companies are interested in applying quantum and quantum-inspired methods just when you talk with them and you decide which are the challenges that are affordable just for them, just to try to solve with a quantum computer or, in our case, tensor networks. Okay. By the way, we are not talking about quantum supremacy. We are just talking about doing something better than with the current solutions they have, usually with lengthy computation times and so on. Okay. Then in finance, that's for sure. We have been just using quantum computers in real machine learning problems. Okay, with some STEAM partners from our northern country here in the Basque Country. Well, we are getting the same performance that with the solutions that the bank is using inside. But in the case of a different problem with tensor networks, not with quantum computer, I mean, we are just outperforming everything that they have inside. And that means money, a lot of money. But it's not about that. I mean, you can go, for example, people probably knows, or maybe don't know, that we have a large project with Bosch. Okay, and this is about predictive maintenance, which is a kind of machine learning problem, which is a specific problem for some production lines that you have just to forecast which are the machines that are going to fail before they fail, and then etc. Okay, Do the engineers in this line want just to understand quantum mechanics? No, for sure not. I mean, they have much larger, urgent problems just to say they want to do that. But exactly the same. I mean, we are running a problem which are essentially the same algorithms that we are using and the same that came from finance, and we decide what about the predictive maintenance in humans, and you say, oh, come on, what's this? Predictive maintenance in humans. Okay, I say, okay, this is a third level hospital. That means, I mean, the hospital that do transplantations and so on, one of the top research centers in Europe, and they decide just to, before we go in there, just to connect all the ICU. The ICU is the intensive care units. I mean, the most technical and critical part of a hospital when you have a really, really large accident problem, or let's say, forbid that coronavirus, and you go there. Okay, they put there, and you are critics. This is the critical care unit. Okay, they have all these beds just connected with everything, and we say and we propose, what about trying to forecast which are the patients that are going to have some problem in the next 40 minutes or so on? And they say, yeah, why not? Let's try. Let me use the same algorithms we're using in predictive maintenance. Yeah, modify something for sure. But about that, yes, you can do that. And you can also apply that, for example, in engineering, in clutches, in also, we are just present also in, you know that for sure, we are changing to the electrical vehicle and to connected vehicle. And that means a huge opportunities for us just to improve optimization, optimizing the fleets of cars also, but also trying to, in some cases, detect and secure some possible attacks, etc., etc., etc. We have a lot of number of cases now where usually nobody knew before that you can apply for some of the problems quantum and quantum-inspired computing. And this is tremendously good because here, as our esteemed colleagues from, I think it was Microsoft, they said, okay, which is the real coin in this industry are the use cases. This is the most valuable part of the knowledge apart from the technical part. Okay, Román is just making me some signs that I have to stop and let him.
I was not making any signs. I was just scratching myself. So the use cases are the real money for this. Yeah. So we have a quantum computer. Now what?
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day is how can these machines contribute to society and to economies and to businesses in a broad term. And I love the example of the intensive care units because it's a tangible example of how quantum goes well beyond quantum, how technology go well beyond technology. And sometimes I'm asked, how can quantum technologies and quantum computing change our lives? And it's, well, maybe, of course, God forbid, if you are in an intensive care unit and there is a quantum computer performing some calculations, it can help the doctors to take care of you if they see some indicators that your condition is deteriorating. So it's helping lives, and that's a tangible example. And yeah, as an engineer, this may sound for some, well, but yeah, we also need to maintain humans, right? We human needs maintenance, and we need early indicators of what is going on in these bodies that are so unpredictable. And the better insights we can get, the best it will be for everyone, really. I have a question here from the audience that I'm going to take now, if you don't mind. And it is in a sense regarding to quantum hype, which I think it's a great theme to address. And the question is, do you think that there is a risk that while those close to quantum can get excited on it, those farther away will think it is just more hype? And this is, I think it's a great question because it's also in a sense related to one question that I wanted to pose, and it's about what would you say to those companies that are still to catch the quantum train? And this is related to the hype aspect of
that's
it.
that's a good question. Let me just start with that one. So one has to be very careful with the hype. Of course, there are many people out there saying about promising lots of things, but you have to ask the right question. I mean, if you say that let's say, I don't know, you can factor a very large number and hack all the cybersecurity of the world with a quantum computer right now, that's hype. Okay. But the right question is, okay, we have these machines. Okay, they are limited. We know they are noisy. Now, can we do something useful with these machines? That's not hype. That's trying to find the right application for the machines that we have now, okay? And that's a hard question, because if I had a 1 million qubit quantum computer, error corrected and without noise and so on, I could just do anything, okay? Now, instead of that, I have a crappy, machine that is working not so well, it's noisy, and, sometimes it gives a lot of errors, sometimes not, you really don't know what is going on. Can you do something useful with this machine? And many people will say, wow, no, we need to wait until we get a better machine. And our opinion is that no, we have this machine. Let's do something already with this. Okay, let's try to do something. This will be like go to the 80s and ask somebody that had a Spectrum, let's say, or one of these primitive computers, whether they could do a voice recognition system, and they will tell you, no, of course we cannot do it, no. But then, can you do something useful? No, yeah, well, we can do spreadsheets and so on. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do. So I think that it's important to show that the current machines that we have now, of course, they cannot do everything, okay? But we have to find the right application, okay, for those machines. And we really believe that it goes along the lines of quantum optimization and quantum machine learning, okay? Because we've seen that for these specific applications, if you look for the right question, okay, and you do the right type of algorithm and so on, you may extract useful things, okay? You may extract useful things. And then one needs to be very careful, okay, about the claims that one is doing, okay? Because of course, we could say that once everything is scaling, it's gonna be different, but we need to wait and so on. But well, okay, so what we have now is a different type of, I can do experiments with the machines that I have now and make forecasts about what I'm gonna have in the future. But then the hard question is, let's try to do something useful with what we have now, okay? And that's, one has to make this very clear from the beginning. I think that if you do that clear from the beginning, then there is no controversy, okay? Then there is no controversy. I don't know, Enrique, what do you think?
No, I think exactly the same. I mean, first of all, I have to say that I don't think that there is more hype in quantum computing than in some other industries. I mean, you go for artificial intelligence, IoT, or even climate change technologies. I mean, you can say, okay, there is hype and so on. But particularly about quantum, I think that the problem arises from a particular thing. And it is that you cannot apply quantum computers to everything. Román has already said that. I mean, quantum computers are noisy, small, whatever. But then if you want to know where can you apply a quantum computer for a real problem, okay, you have to understand which these problems are. And then you have to be humble because, for example, finance has a Nobel Prize. I mean, it's as large as physics. You cannot just start, for example, in physics and then say, okay, and now we can apply that. Let me just find the problem in finance. No, this is just too hard. Life science, even more, and so on. So for every small thing that you can do with a quantum computer today, better with the current solutions that the industry is using, which is the business point value, okay? There are milliards of things that you cannot do with a quantum computer. But finding those specific problems, okay, this is a real hard task. But you have to do that. And then you will discover as Multiverse that then your customers are recurring because you can see whether there is a proof, there is even nearly a mathematical proof about what is a hype and which is not a hype in a company. If your customers are recurring and are coming back to do more things, then they are satisfied. They have find a useful case. They have found the money on that. Okay, I think that should be Lizaso's theorem. Please.
That's
absolutely.
For a mathematician, it's not bad for a mathematician.
Sorry, that was a joke.
yeah. I mean, we are witnesses it now, the birth of a theory live. So let's take this in for a moment. And I couldn't agree more, both from a technical and business side or a strategic side. I mean, when you find what you can do with this, even at this current state, then companies who do that have a competitive advantage. And that translates in recurrency, right? Because they have discovered something that it creates value for them. And that is something realistic. I mean, as Román, you were saying before, nobody is talking about cracking RSA right now with our noisy and sometimes struggling quantum computers. But there are things that we can do with these machines right now. And those who find what to do with these machines right now are the ones who have a competitive advantage. Related to this, because it's as we were discussing, it is a hard problem. And we see emerging consortiums around Europe and also in other countries, for example, the UK or the United States, even transnational alliances. And maybe that's a good way, right, to enter into the quantum realm for companies. And I would like to know your views about this dynamic that we are seeing in the quantum realm.
Okay, Román?
That's for you. Want to start this one, Enrique?
No, I prefer you.
Yeah, so about the dynamics that we are seeing in companies. So, well, what we are seeing is that as I was saying before, more and more people are moving towards industry. Okay, so we are seeing more people building teams. Okay, in quantum companies. Okay, more quantum physicists actually moving to industry. Some others that are actually going from one side to the other. Okay, and in that sense, I have the feeling that people are just starting to grow more and more their teams. Okay, with more technical expertise, right? And overall, I would say that the value of quantum computing is growing. As I was saying, we are starting to see it actually beyond finance right now. Okay, and we are starting to see it in many different places. Actually, I'm surprised because we are starting to see lots of quantum teams in places. Okay, that we didn't expect at the beginning. Okay, so. People doing, as we were saying before, no? I mean, I don't know, health, okay, or even logistics or manufacturing. It turns out that there are quantum experts also working with these people right now.
Yeah, I think this is one of the trends of this consortium. Also, all the thing is getting momentum. I mean, it was difficult to start a company before, but now I think if you want to. Let's say, I mean, things are getting larger and larger and larger. So you need much more larger team just to be able to access the some companies and all the projects and so on. So I don't know whether it's our point of view, but for me, the industry has grown and is growing at a fantastic pace, to say something. Is that, Román? Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's growing exponentially fast.
Yeah, and that market dynamic also, you see, explain the creation of consortiums and then public funding. When I say public, I mean government funding, also contributing to the industry and helping the industry grow as well.
Yeah, that's interesting because this consortium are a fantastic tool just to try to do something together. Okay. And that consortium also protects you, depending on the consortium, about the greedy people in some other companies, not everyone, that tries to keep your IP from you and get into them. And that's something that we have to resist. So I think that this is a super good way just to incentivize the use of quantum computing, incentivize the discovery of real use cases, not just theoretical ones, but going to the detail with the customers and try to look for something. And this consortiums is nothing new. I mean, we have been using this financial or let's say mixed instrument in some other fields before in innovation and even in life. Okay, if you remember in life when we were just sequencing the genome at it was in 19th maybe. Okay, yeah. There was a super large consortium that was in charge of that, apart from Craig Buncher, for sure. Yeah. But they were just doing this consortium, and that helps. That helps a lot just to try to put the knowledge of quantum computing inside the large company, but also just to give to inject life inside the small quantum companies. Okay, that try to demonstrate that the offer has value. For sure, at some point you have to grow outside the consortium and go on your own for the real customers, because if not, you may think that all the business life is about just getting a consortium and getting a grant. I would say this is a so European scene.
Yeah, not probably the right. I mean, not probably the right mindset, right? It's a help to start, but no way of life. Yeah. I have here 2 questions from the audience that I think it's a good moment to take them on. One is from Enrico Kuschler, and Enrico is asking, from a traditional big company point of view, how the current processes have to be changed in order to be prepared for the quantum computing revolution. In your experiences with clients, did that modify the way to proceed?
Well, that depends pretty much on the customer you are just targeting inside a company. I think that I've talked about that before, but let's say you have just two ways just to enter in, generally speaking, for sure, inside a company. Either you go for the innovation department. Innovation department are keen just to taste everything. I mean, their life is about just testing new technologies and trying to show that they are worth of being paid by the company, testing the next thing. Just to keep on running in the company. That's good. That's real good. But innovation departments, depending on the company, they have money or they don't have money, so much money. So this is something that you should know. These innovation departments, from time to time, they have people just burst with skills particularly in quantum computing. Okay, nowadays this is much more common, and in some cases, in some incredible cases, I mean, they have even a team that has in finance, that has happened in some companies, that has tried a lot of possible solutions. Okay, this is something good, but this is not enough just to change the company. Okay, and this is something that the people from the innovation departments know, and that drive us to the second way of entering the company, which is the business line. Oh my God. If you go for the business line, better for you to have a product and to have a clear idea of the problem and to have a clear idea of the expected performance of your solution there. Those guys have money. Yes, sure, they have. But they are no nonsense guys. Either you work, either you are you don't work. Better for you to bring with you proofs and sets and so on. And then, especially in quantitative finance, they are clever enough to understand that something is really happening there, and they want just to change. Okay, what about this technology? I want to learn about that. I want to use these tools, but also I want to just use or develop my own tools and so on. And this is the real change on some departments. They are just open to use those kind of solutions. But I insist, if you try to go to a business department, better for you to have a clear idea of the problem. If not, they are going to kick out quite real fast out of the company. And you also have to know their language. I mean, going to finance, you need to speak finance. Going to life, you need to learn how to speak life science. Going to let's say a production facility, better for you to know how to speak the language of the engineers just working there in the business line. Because if not, probably you remember Lost in Translation.
Yeah, that's a great example. What are your views on this, Román?
No, I agree. You need to talk the language of the customer and the client. And as Enrique said, so there are two lines where you can enter in Quantum on a company: innovation departments or production. So with innovation departments, it's about trying ideas. With production, it's about getting into business. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's very different. Yeah. And for the companies themselves to be ready, I think it's time about sitting down, identifying the people that may actually, be more keen to learn quantum, or if you have some physicists in your team or some mathematician, try to identify the bottlenecks of your computational processes and then evaluate if those could maybe improve with quantum computing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I can say is that the people that where you have demonstrated a real solution working, they are interested in this, and then they hire people just versed on quantum computing and on these technologies because they want to do on their own some solutions and to try that and so on. So everything just works together. I mean, you demonstrate something that goes well, and then probably with them, then they decide, okay, this is working. Okay, I want to learn more about that, and even more, I want to hire some people just to work in those technologies, etc., etc. Everything is just matching together, and you are start growing, let's say, this kind of 3D puzzles or jigsaw, sorry, that are go up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will take now the second question from the audience, which is from Brian Lenahan. And he asks if, well, it's maybe related to what we're discussing before, if are there mid-sized, smaller financial institutions, organizations showing interest in quantum?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. I mean, particularly, I mean, we have just assisted an official a regular meeting from a business association here, which they are small companies. I mean, we are in the Basque Country. There are some large and some small. This was medium and small. And the financial institutions, they are interested in particularly in that. Only in some, let's say, problems. Okay. For example, quantitative finance, depending on the institutions, no way. I mean, they don't play these games. But for example, a lot of them has wealth services or wealth management services. Yes, you can just bring there. A different thing is about prices. You know that it's not a general rule, but happens that the larger the financial institution it is, the higher the probability that you may charge a higher price. Not always. Some of them are pretty hard to crack. Okay, but there one thing that is for true is that if you go to the medium and lower part of the spectrum, I mean, well, okay, you have to think about how much you are going to charge, because for sure, I mean, what is not a good idea, I think, I mean, some competitors disagree, is that just doing things for free, it does not work on the long term.
No sustainable, not a sustainable strategy, I would say. Román, do you wish to add something at this?
No, I think Enrique was very clear. But yeah, I mean, actually, smaller and mid-sized companies are also getting interested. As Enrique was saying, we just came from a meeting. Actually, there were interested people, and these are not big corporations.
No. And some of them are from the finance.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they have the limitations. Of course, you have to understand that. But yeah, I mean,
yes, and some other companies that are dealing in some other areas of deep tech. I mean, and nowadays there are a lot of them. They are also quite interested in just try to do something or apply directly some of the solutions for some specific problems. Well, then you face a problem. Should we go with a small company as well? How much should we charge? Okay, is it worth just to use resources for that or not? But this is a problem. Okay, everybody has to make a choice here.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the difficult questions, and those are the strategic questions one needs to address when running a business. And also something related to strategy, it is the quantum threat, right? And what I like is that is something now openly discussed, and because just a few months ago or a year ago, it was something that we used to hash in, quiet conversations amongst the people in the quantum realm. But now we are speaking up and we are saying, hey, there is a quantum threat potentially. And my take on this is that companies must get ready against that threat. And my question for you would be now, what are the main steps companies should follow to prepare against the quantum threat? And this might be obvious, but which risks face those who don't get ready?
Yes, that's right. I mean, there are, that depends pretty much on the industry. For example, in finance, I mean, there are some areas that we can identify now. Okay, in quantitative finance, better for you that you enter in quantum and quantum-inspired solutions, because if not, you are going to face nasty problems. This is in banking. But if you go to the investment fund, the problem is even more dramatic. Either you have some solutions that may speed up your computation real fast, let's say 10 times or 100 times. Okay, that we have. Either you are going to face some kind of problem in your business. These problems that requires a fast answer or a machine learning system that requires a lot of training or adjusting or so on, I think that they are going to suffer in the short term. So those companies should be aware that either they enter there now, either they are going to be forced to enter later. Okay, let's see. That has already happened in finance before without quantum computing. I mean, remember the high frequency trading? Nobody was doing high frequency trading. You invested and you thought that, okay, the value of the investment was quite good, and you analyze the company and blah, blah, blah. And some people started just to doing on the other side, high frequency trading, no matter what the company is, I just want to, and come on. I mean, this is about, okay, this is happening again in some cases. We can see it happening. I mean, you can imagine when some large company involved in quantitative finance, they suddenly realize that the solutions they are using in homes are no longer the best ones, and there are some solutions that are running 10 times faster without. So they say, okay, what about what? Sorry, I was going to say something.
Yeah, but they are going to be questions like, what the heck is going on, and why are we behind of this?
And then they say, okay, we have to enter, and that's all. Okay, what about if you have not? What do you think, that the business is going to be that way forever and ever? Come on. I mean, see what's happening in the world.
And then I can see that, because then people used to enter into panic mode, and it might be too late. How do you see this, Román? Oh, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, I was silent. Sorry, I was silent. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with Enrique. So I think that, of course, you need to be prepared for this. Okay, and it's like as Enrique was saying, you have to be prepared, because otherwise the tsunami comes and it's too late, and you enter into panic mode, and then you have no time to react. So yeah.
We have a few minutes left, and then of course would like to say some final words. So I'm going to pose the last question of this magnificent quantum for finance that is becoming. I think that this is becoming quantum beyond finance in a sense. Series, so maybe thinking about a new name for the next season. But I remember a great moment in the first episode, which was about multiverse computing totem, that now I have been honored to see in real life, and I cannot wait to be again back in the office.
Oh, I was just waiting for this moment.
And please, and of course, without disclosing any confidential, right? I know there are some confidentiality issues here, but if you could make an announcement about the new and innovative uses discovered for the totem during this year.
Yes. Well, I have to say you something. I mean, let me disconnect the cable from the. I think you are here. Let me wait for the Mac just to restore the. Yes. Okay. Can you see me?
Yeah. We can see you.
Okay. Yes, you are right. I mean.
Oh,
I can see my.
Yeah, we can see you.
No.
Yeah, here we can see the totem.
Yes, this is the totem. You can see how big it is. Okay. The first thing that this totem just made that look how big it is. Okay. Okay. This is our first thing, and this big mood they have here. Okay. You can put the. I mean, this totem tell us just people. Okay.
Yeah,
Exactly. You should grow real large. And we say, okay, but we are not so clever to do that. And they say, okay, I can bring you a friend. And then, yes, we have there, okay, you cannot see, but I am going to go there. So, and Roman can join me. Please, come, Roman, come with me. Okay.
I prefer to stay here.
Okay. This is the real.
Oh, yeah, the monolith, of course.
Remember,
that is the monolith.
But we don't know how we just.
This is the monolith. We are clever.
We got more clever. Yeah.
Yes, and we can just touch like. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Clever,
Yeah, and I can give empirical evidence of touching that, and immediately noting my IQ is skyrocketing.
You suddenly see quantum superposition everywhere. Yeah.
And this is the hole where the monolith came from. So believe me, I mean, we are not clever because we are clever. We are clever because we touch the monolith.
The monolith.
Yeah, that is crucial. That is crucial.
That when we touch the monolith, they said, okay, you should grow larger, and you should go for some other industries, and you should just start hiring a lot of people and earning money. For God's sake,
the totem is just becoming, but we just use it to make sacrifices of the people not working.
So yeah, I mean, I can give empirical evidence of everything that is being said here. And looking very much forward to
but not of the sacrifice.
But not of the sacrifice. Not of that.
Not so far.
Not so fast. No sacrificing. But I think that also shows pretty much the culture in Multiverse, which is
yes, that's the point. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, some of us are scientists.
It doesn't look like that, but we are serious people. Okay.
Yes, I mean, and when you go to the bank, better for you not to make this kind of.
No, that's right.
We dress in a suit, and
that's right. I mean, this is the kind of culture we have here. And as before, I mean, if you think you are losing your life, you are just in this world just to do something of interest, please contact us. Don't throw your life to the trash bin.
Come to Multiverse and you will work with Esperanza.
Yeah.
I will. Yes, we will let you touch the monolith and also the totem.
Exactly. Yeah. But not too much. But
not too much. And not many people has done that, right? All right. So, I mean, great insights, lots of fun, and what a great anniversary episode. And it's sort of difficult to sum up everything that is going so fast. And it's, but again, it's about moving forward the industry and creating real business value for business, for societies, with tangible use cases across industries, and addressing the fundamental question of what can we do now with these quantum machines that we have now. And with this, Em, over to you if you want to say some final words, and also Paolo, who is joining us as well.
So Em has handed over to me, and I'm delighted. It's an honor to wrap things up. I mean, this was true superposition, of a gentleman in suits and ties on the one hand, and totems and monoliths on the other. So this is perfect. We celebrate a number of anniversaries today, and I thank those of you speaking and those of you listening. One is, as we very boldly stated, this is the 1 year anniversary of the Quantum in Finance series that Esperanza is doing such a fantastic job of running. It's also more or less the 2 year anniversary of when Quantum London went online. So we formed things back, pre-COVID. And then, as with everyone else, back in the spring of 2020, we panicked a bit about where the world was going, but then we sort of found ourselves, and we've had a series of incredible speakers. And if we think back to the questions that were asked 2 years ago, and the questions that are asked now, they're almost exactly the same. However, the answers that were given 2 years ago and the answers now, and more importantly, the specificity, right? If we think about some of the use cases, Enrique and Román, that you've done such a great job of talking about today, they're not wholly different, right? It's not like they have changed, but the specificity that you're able to discuss them, the fact that sometimes these weren't just use cases that were discussed around a whiteboard in 2018, 2019, but these are things that you are sitting with paying clients or potential paying clients who actually realize this will make a difference to their business, maybe not this year, but maybe next year or the year after. That is why I, as someone who sort of observes this from the outside, thinking, how can I get executives across all industries to care? That's why I believe we're at such an important point now. That's why I believe that, there is no meaningful risk of hype winning, because, to what you said earlier, if you talk generally, it can sound like hype. But the moment you can talk specific, the moment you get different people from different organizations wanting to come together and talk about specificity, then we know we're onto something that is genuinely valid and genuinely going to make a difference. So thank you so much, Enrique, Román, for your insights today, for everything you've done, frankly, for sort of the whole of the sector over the last few years, through your energy, your passion, for being some of the people who more often got on planes and went places when the rest of us were hiding behind screens. That's been so important. And of course, thank you to you, Esperanza, in any number of ways. And those of us who know you are delighted that you now have a genuine excuse, or not excuse, but a genuine reason now to be a true leader in quantum, rather than a sort of interested amateur as you spent your early years. So really, one just thought to wrap up. Obviously, we're online now in a virtual setup, though increasingly meeting each other. I know a lot of people met in London at the Economist event only last week, which was fantastic, and I know that people are starting to fly to and fro more. For those who are in London, and those especially, in fact, in the insurance industry, we're going to run an event in June, probably just a small Chatham House rules style roundtable over breakfast or over lunch or something, to actually get into the use case question. Because if we sort of do a quick review of the literature and the webinars over the past 6 months, or the presentation and everything, insurance is noticeable by its absence in terms of discussions, and I'm very keen that we get some people from the insurance sector together to understand if that's for good reason, that insurance should be behind the wave and we'll let other industries go first, or if it's for no reason, in which case let's pull insurance right to the vanguard of these discussions. So anyone in London who's interested in that, please get in touch with me, probably most easily through LinkedIn. Obviously, this recording will be sitting on YouTube for those people who haven't been able to hear it live. And Esperanza, any final thoughts from you before I close?
Well, just to thank again Enrique and Román for this first anniversary, which hopefully is the first of many more to come.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen, and goodbye to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.